Morning, everybody. This is an update, as was already stated, for Homicide 50 of 2015. Just to bring us back to that date when this occurred. It was on the 11th of December 2015 at approximately 4:15 p.m. Toronto Communications received several 911 calls for the sounds of multiple gunshots in the area of Peter Street, just north of King Street West. Emergency services attended on scene and located a male suffering apparent gunshot wounds. He was transported to hospital and succumbed to his injuries. That gentleman was subsequently identified as Joel Alexander, a 27-year-old resident of Toronto. At the time of this investigation, I had made a personal appeal to people that were working or traversing or moving in the area. It was a Friday afternoon. It was a high-density area. And we asked for persons that may have possession of any security images that might be of assistance. Since that time, we've spoken to a number of witnesses, and the purpose of today's conference is to appeal to the public twofold. One is a composite drawing of the suspect we believe to now be involved in the shooting of Mr. Joel Alexander. This individual has been described as a male black, brown in color, lighter skinned. He's approximately 30 years of age. And what is of significance of this individual, he is being described as being a very good-looking or model-like gentleman. He is approximately, as I said, 30 years of age, and he was well-dressed at the time of the shooting. Below us is the suspect vehicle. As part of the canvas, we received security images, and this is the involved vehicle that you're seeing down below on the lower portion of this billboard or poster board. We now believe this vehicle to be a 2006 Lexus, either a 250 or 350 model. And what I can tell you about this particular vehicle is that it has been captured on a number of locations on that day, and we now believe that this vehicle actually followed Mr. Alexander for a period of time before he was eventually gunned down at this location. From the general area, I can't tell you, and I won't tell you exactly where Mr. Alexander had been prior to being shot, but we certainly know a path where we believe he came from. And through research and through going through different security videos, we can certainly see this vehicle earlier on and then following Mr. Alexander's vehicle.
What time frame are we talking that this vehicle was in the area?
It was there at least a half an hour to an hour before the shooting.
You think that he was looking for Alexander, or he knew where to find him and he was just waiting?
I suspect right now it's probably the latter, that they knew the area where he would be located, because he certainly appeared, or the shooter appeared to be in that area for a specific reason. As I said at the time of this incident, I certainly believe that Mr. Alexander was targeted on that day, so certainly as an investigator, it would only lead us to believe that whoever did this was actively searching for him.
Now, just remind us, like, Alexander was in sort of a little parking lot when he was shot, is that right? Like, it was off Peter Street?
Correct. So there was a parking lot just north of Peter Street on the west side. Mr. Alexander had literally just pulled into that parking lot. He had a companion with him at the time. We now believe that the suspect vehicle proceeded north on Peter from King Street, did a U-turn, if you will, and then stopped parallel to where Mr. Alexander was seated and opened up shooting.
From his vehicle, or did he get out of the vehicle?
From his vehicle.
Sorry, you said he went northbound.
So he went north, and then he would have done a U-turn. So he would have
firing through his own vehicle? Was he driving, or was he the passenger?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, and I'm not going to speculate on what the shooter was, where he was in the vehicle, but I certainly can tell you that we believe that shots were being fired from the passenger side.
Do you think it's gang-related?
I can't tell you right now what the reason was behind this at all. That's one of the questions we don't have the answer to right now, but certainly whatever occurred to Mr. Alexander's past caused someone to want to locate and shoot him on that day. So I can't tell you whether it is or is not gang-related.
Do we know if it's related to any crime previous to this?
Again, I don't have a specific incident. Obviously, as investigators, we're looking at the complete background of our deceased person to see what may have contributed to this incident on this day. We're certainly following up on a number of different scenarios. We have not pinpointed one specific incident, but certainly that's a possibility.
Did Alexander have gang ties?
He did not have gang ties specific.
Associated? Like in the criminal underworld? Is that?
His lifestyle certainly may have put him at a higher risk for an incident such as this, but certainly portions of his background and what we're looking at specifically to see if there's something that would have contributed specifically to this occurring to him on this day. I'm not going to get into the specifics, but certainly he involved himself in a lifestyle, as I said, that certainly could have exposed him to this type of an incident.
The companion he was with, had he stopped there to drop her off, or do you know why they had stopped in that parking lot?
Yeah. My understanding is that they had attended there to pick something up at a nearby location, and they literally had just gotten to that location when the suspect vehicle showed up and the shots started firing.
Was this for illicit purposes, picking something
No.
up, or, okay.
No.
So it's not like he was going to a meeting and this guy could have been part of that meeting or anything?
No, my understanding is that they were going to a specific location to purchase something, and as they arrived on scene, the shooting occurred.
Any last questions?
So if you can, folks, with regards to the suspect vehicle, I want you to keep an open mind to the time of the incident. We're talking about December the 11th, 2015, and I certainly want you to broaden your horizons as to where this vehicle may have been or may not have been. Specifically, I'm not saying 100% that this vehicle was from the GTA area, so if you're outside of the Greater Toronto area, it may in fact be that this vehicle traveled a distance before being involved in this particular shooting. So anyone that's watching this, please, if you live in the outlying areas and you recognize this vehicle, it is pretty distinct. They have very, very distinct tinted windows for a 2006 vehicle. I would think that it would jog your memory, and again, we're saying that this particular suspect composite was associated to that vehicle on that day. Whether in fact that was just the one day, I can't tell you, but if you could turn your mind to the two, that would be most appreciated.
Can you just go over, Detective Sergeant Browne, the nature of this? Because if I recall, I mean, it's an afternoon on a weekday. You had been asking for a lot of possible witnesses to come forward. Were there a lot of people? Was there a lot of foot traffic on the sidewalks? Like, would there have been a lot of people around when this guy allegedly rolled his window down and opened fire?
This was approximately 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. There was an immense amount of people in and around the area. There are commercial buildings, there are residential buildings, and again, I will again extend my thanks to the people that came forward. We did get great support from people who work and live in the area that gave us information, immediate information on what we might be looking for. So yes, there was a lot of people in the area. Where the actual shooting occurred specific, it was a parking lot, but nonetheless, at 4:15 on a Friday, it's a very, very dangerous incident to have occurred. And we're very fortunate that there wasn't any, as we refer to as collateral damage, with misfires or people missing the target, if you will. So we were very, very fortunate that no one else was injured on this occasion.
But this car didn't pull into that parking lot, did it? It
No.
fired from the roadway?
No. What had occurred is that Mr. Alexander entered the parking lot. He parked his vehicle, and as he was parking the vehicle, the suspect vehicle traveled northbound on Peter, made a U-turn, continued southbound, and literally stopped parallel to Mr. Alexander's vehicle and commenced shooting.
How many shots?
Multiple.
More than 5?
More than 5
More than
5, yes.
Would you say it's pretty remarkable that the female in the passenger seat wasn't hit by any of these bullets?
I would say that that's not a bad choice of words, yes.
Okay. Did you ever release a picture of the victim, Alexander?
I did not.
Is that possible?
Oh, well, you know what, I may have. I'll have to, I think I may have released a Facebook photo. I'll double check.
Okay,
I think there may have been a photo when we did the release.
okay.
Anything else?
Did the
Thanks,
shots,
everybody.
did the shots come from the passenger side of the
Yes.
suspect vehicle?
Yes, the shots came from the passenger side of the vehicle. I just can't say conclusively where the shooter was within the vehicle, but definitely it came from the passenger side.
It could have been backseat passenger side?
I can't tell you where.
He could have been
within
reaching
the
over from the
vehicle.
driver's seat, he could have been in the front passenger seat, he could have been in the back passenger seat.
There's a myriad of different possible scenarios. We do know that the shooting occurred through the passenger side
Because of where the shell casings were found on that side where the vehicle would have been?
because of witness accounts.
Witnesses, okay.
Were any shots returned by the
No.
victim?
Thanks, everybody.
That concludes today's conference. Thank you for attending.